Turns out BlackRock is the biggest company in the world, and they are not what you think. Biggest company in the world? Yeah. $9.74 trillion in assets under management. MarketWatch estimated that there are only $40 trillion in circulation around the entire world. That means that BlackRock is in control of a quarter of the world's money right now. But wait, there's more. If you want to get caught up on what we've already learned, pause and read that shit, because it's wild. This is Larry. He started a really big company. Yes, he is at the World Economic Forum in this picture. You are correct. Now, let's talk about Aladdin. No, not the genie. We're talking about an artificial intelligence, ladies and gentlemen. Aladdin is actually an acronym that stands for Asset Liability, Debt, and Derivative Investment Network. And by some estimates, it manages over $21.6 trillion in assets. Yes, that's equivalent to half the money in the world. And how did this genie come to manage that much money, you might ask? Well, that's a great question. Back in 2008, when the entire global economy was about to collapse, guess who they called to fix the problem? That's right, they called this guy. He had his buddy, the artificial intelligence algorithm, take that $2 trillion that was printed to save the global economy, and Aladdin decided where it was allocated. Guess what? It all went to banks. The same banks that made the problem. Literally to the exact same people that made the problem. Bank has already replaced most of his traders with this algorithm. And over 70% of all US stock market trades are performed by algorithms now. There are count them, 3 BlackRock people on Joe Biden's cabinet in positions at the Treasury and the National Economic Council. So what's the big deal? He manages lots of money. He's probably a great guy. In fact, a huge amount of the money that his buddy Aladdin manages is actually our money. It's our pensions and our 401ks and a whole bunch of funds that we all buy into. And when we buy into those funds, we give up the voting rights to all the shares that they purchase with our money. What do voting rights do, you ask? Voting rights decide how companies work. They elect boards of directors, who elect CEOs. Voting rights control corporations. You wonder why they want voting rights? But wait, Ian, BlackRock is concerned with climate change. Isn't that a good thing? Larry Fink is here placing companies on watch for not being active enough in tackling climate change. They took several material actions against management, including siding with shareholders on their proposals, voting against board members, and raising governance concerns. That sounds great. Yeah, BlackRock sure is concerned with sounding great. But words are easy. Actions are a little more complicated. For example, who is driving the massive industrialized agricultural model that is destroying the global ecosystem? I might add that this is a far less controversial part of climate change than CO2 emissions, which the right and left don't agree on. This, I think we agree, is a problem. Large pesticide and fertilizer companies are extremely profitable. Net income of 8 of the largest pesticides and fertilizer companies are projected to double from US $19 billion in 2021 to $38 billion in 2022, resulting in more monocropping, human rights abuses, and environmental devastation. So who is the biggest shareholders of all of these gigantic agricultural companies that are destroying the planet's ecosystems? That's right, it's BlackRock and Vanguard. This guy, who is so concerned about the environment that he's sanctioning companies with his ESG scores, is also bigly involved in the agricultural destruction of our planet and taking over our food resources. Fink announced in January that the firm was suddenly changing its strategy. Sustainability would become BlackRock's new standard for investing. The firm defines sustainability as understanding and incorporating environmental, social, and governance factors, ESG scores, into investment analysis and decision making. Wonder what that means. You tell me, you think the guy that's controlling a quarter of the world's money supply has your best interest in mind when he owns all these companies, when they vote all these shares? Do you?